So first, I just want to thank you both for making such a wonderful film. You sharing your story, you producing it. One thing that I really liked about the film was it sort of combines 15th century literature with issues that are really affecting our community today. I'm wondering if you guys can speak more to that sort of Shakespearean element of the film.
Pretty much just telling a story of what's going on in your environment. I ain't really studied Shakespeare a lot, but from what I have gathered is he just touched on themes that affected that time period in that city by telling his tale of Romeo and Juliet and all of his other masterpieces that he wrote at that time. So just taking that integrity, it was like he spoke to those people using language that they could understand or not understand, but forced them to understand. So I'm like, well, that's our culture, period, with hip hop and anything else we do, is talk about what's going on in our community using words and clothes and how we walk to explain where this comes from. So that's pretty much what we did.
Well, for me, that story's been told so many times, right? And it's always the same. The human experience doesn't change. You know, you get new technology, new toys and all that, but we're still human beings. You know, we still have these struggles and we still have this effort, you know, to try to move towards a better, happier place, but we get lost. That's the one thing about humans too. They just make the same mistakes over and over again. You know, but as individuals, we have a chance to make something different. And I think through art, you know, a lot of people get a chance to find themselves and their true selves, which is much higher than what the collective is doing. You know, they walk away from what everyone else is doing because they are artists and because they looked inside and found something greater. You know, and that's the example for him. You know, this story is kind of typical that we have struggle, but it's kind of atypical the way he got himself out of struggle, you know. But there are a lot of people who survive. Everybody in the hood, every young person in the hood don't go to jail or die, right? And some of them don't have a lot of resources, a lot of ways out, and art has saved many of them. It's unfortunate that the Trump administration and the previous administrations actually allowed the dismantling of the art programs on a national level. But Trump is now pulling more money, which is, you know, insane, because without art and without poetry and things like that, the schools collapse, you know, and our system falls apart. So anyway, back to Donté. This movie is a phenomenal experience when you see it, because it touches you. I don't care where you're from, you know, and it's his, you see him transform and you understand his transformation. And that's what any story is about, to feel someone grow. And he's grown to an activist instead of a drug dealer, to a support system for his community instead of a detriment to his community. And that happened through his poetry.
Something else that I really loved was the film dealt a lot with intersectionality, with the story of Denise. I felt like you get to see an angle told from a Black woman's perspective, where it's dealing with race and security.
Yeah, it's like the things that young men go through as far as like, all right, how do we become men in this environment where you either prey or the predator? But not really talking about how the women are affected by that. Our mothers, the women we become partners with and produce these children, the sisters of these young men who's in jail or shot or whatever. It's like these young women are affected by what's going on as well, if not beaten down the most by the world in our community. So just to have that piece of, you have me talking about what I'm going through and then her talking about what she's going through, and it's related because she's from Central and I'm from North Richmond, and that's that Montague Capulet theme all right there. And our love was poetry and just wanted to move our family further by expressing ourselves. So it's like that with the environmental racism, with schools, and it's a lot of different things that tie into it, but it also brings us together.
What was the main thing that you want viewers to take away from this movie, if anything?
Think, speak, and be love. And that's the solution to all problems that we have. Whether you're in a position of power, if you feel like you don't have any power, if you think love and if you speak from that perspective, you will move in that direction, and then that'll be the solution.
It's about, you're not powerless, you're powerful, and you have to make that decision, just like he said, it's really about what your thoughts are, everything. You can go out and be a revolutionary and all that, he was just saying earlier, you can be all those things. But if your heart hasn't transformed, it's the waste. You become the oppressor. The oppressor is gone, and you become the oppressor next. You become the same negative impact on the community or on your family. But if you personally change your life, then you can change the world.
So first, I just want to congratulate you on such a wonderful film. I wanted to sort of get an idea of what went into, coming on board and directing a film like this.
Yeah, this all stemmed. This is a really organic experience for me, being my first time directing a film. It stemmed out of an old relationship, a close relationship with my cousin Molly Rayner, who's in the film. She moved to Richmond 10 years ago and started teaching poetry, and Donté was her first student. And so I saw from 10 years back when he was first introduced, just the growth of this incredible artist. And Molly introduced me to Donté, and we started talking, and over the course of a couple of years, it was obvious that we needed to collaborate on something. And it was this incredible opportunity to document one of my favorite artists at the beginning of his journey. And I'm just really excited to see what this film can do for him and for the community of Richmond, and see where it goes.
That's wonderful. And I was just wondering a bit, because this film deals a lot with ethnography and sort of like, it's very documentary centered. So I'm wondering, was that difficult as a director to, direct something that's so ethnographic?
I think that my experiences leading up to this kind of prepared me for, navigating those waters. I've been working for years with Morgan Neville, a filmmaker in Los Angeles, documentary filmmaker, and he taught me, and so many mentors, but a lot of them taught me how to really do the job correctly. And Dante's story is a story that I felt I needed to tell. There was no question if I was going to make this movie or not. And then you dig into the meaning behind his poetry, and it takes you straight to these big issues. And so the job as a filmmaker at that point is to really study and understand the issues that he's writing about, so you can present a fair, largely unbiased view. And then Dante's poetry narrows that view right down, and you get to see the world through his eyes. So that was the approach, and hopefully it works.
What are you most excited for viewers to, I guess, take away from this film?
Yeah, for the youth seeing the film, I'm most excited for them to see the example that Donté is setting forth, and just to realize that everyone has a voice, and spend some time getting to know your voice, and please share it, because everybody has value in that way. And then I'm just really excited for the world to see Donté, because he's incredible.